Hello friends, welcome back to my channel and to another Plan With Me video. This week we are memory planning the week that was December 16th through to December 22nd, and this was actually the week that I had my work, not Christmas party, but we have like a team lunch every year where we get like a 2-hour reprieve of our schedule. Well, not really, we're on flex time, so we have to use our own accumulated flex time to block out 2 hours from our day, where we get to go away from site or like leave home, go and have a team lunch, and then depending on time, we can either choose to log back in and do more work, or we can obviously log off, which mostly everybody does the latter. But this kit is a kit from Planiface that I had eyed off for ages. Like, it was one of those kits that was out for a while and I didn't use it the previous year, and I was like, I need to buy it, because if we end up having lunch at the same place, which we generally tend to do now, like apparently it started one year, they loved the food, and then every year since they've gone back. So I was like, okay, well, if I don't use it in 2023, or I can't use it in 2023, and I buy it, I can use it in 2024. And that's exactly what I've done, because we did go to the same place. And essentially what the place is, it's called Flower Power. So for anyone who doesn't live in Australia or might not know what Flower Power is, it's essentially like a garden shop. So you go there, you can buy indoor plants, outdoor plants, you can buy like outdoor furniture, you can buy bits and pieces of home decor. It's just a really big kind of plant and flower shop. But at this particular plant and flower shop, they have a cafe section at the back that's quite large. Like, it accommodates a lot of people, and they serve like full-on meals. So not just like your standard cafe meals, they serve like proper meals. So when I saw this kit, I was like, oh my god, it would be perfect, because this is like a botanical garden type kit. And whilst, again, I didn't go to the botanical gardens, I just thought the elements of the kit, like the idea of like the greenhouse, the plants, the statues, I just thought it was perfect for going to this place for lunch. Now, obviously, I'm not going to use it every year, but I seized the opportunity in this instance, and it's just such a pretty kit. I love how it came out. I paired it with, I'm just trying to remember. I don't actually know whose foil this is. So in the sidebar, I've got a Christmas loading quote. I feel like maybe the foil is from Planichoco? Maybe? Maybe it's not. Maybe it's from Planiface. I don't know. If anyone's looking at this foil and knows where it's from, please let me know, because usually I'm good with my foil, but I'm really unsure. I feel like it's Planichoco. But if I'm wrong, rectify me. And then in the date headers for this particular week, I did use date dots that have like little stars next to them. Again, couldn't tell you where they're from. But the foil that I did use this week was silver. I just thought it worked really nicely with the color palette of the kit. That's kind of it. So I guess we should probably jump into the plans for the week. So, like I said, it was a work week. I think it was my last work week. Yeah, so I did work the Monday to Friday, and then I was on leave. So I worked until the 20th of December this year, whereas other years I think I've worked up until Christmas Eve or something like that. But anyway, let's get into it. So sidebar, very stock standard. We've got the 3 full boxes. I did do a little bit of a wobble on one of the boxes that I then put the quote over. And then Monday, we'll jump into everything. So this particular day, I marked that I had a half day. So this was Christmas lunch day. I was like, I don't know why I had a half day. So I worked a half day. I marked that I was incredibly tired. I marked that my 2 dogs tried to get a baby bird and that they were being pests about it. So again, I don't even remember how I discovered this, but I remember it clearly. So there was a little baby bird, and they'd stressed this bird the heck out. So thankfully they hadn't gotten to a point where they were sick of playing with it and wanted to eat it. So I was able to rescue it. I wrapped it in a towel, put it in a box, put it in a dark corner. And I think at the time of night, or like when I discovered it, like no vets were open, and I wasn't sure if it was a native bird or not, because I know that if they're not native, like the vet's just going to euthanize them. And I wasn't sure like the condition of the bird because it didn't look too hot. So I wanted to put it in a box for a couple of hours and see how it went. So after the couple of hours, kind of seemed to have a little bit more energy, and I was like, okay, well maybe the bird's okay. So I put a little like cap full of water in there, and I put some bread in there. Didn't know what else to put in there. Didn't have anything else. Probably shouldn't have given it bread. But we left it overnight, and then my husband, can't remember if it was myself or my husband, were going to take it to the vet the next morning, provided it made it through. And when we woke up the next morning, we couldn't find the bird. So it was obviously like well enough to get out of the box, and it had like obviously flown enough to get out of the box and was like hiding in the corner behind one of our cupboards. And then we ended up taking it to the vet. Again, I don't know what the outcome was. It's probably preferable that way because, yeah, don't really want to know if bad things happened. But we took it to the vet. We did what we could. And that was that. The fact that I even saved it from my dogs is like a huge thing. Then, like I said, this is my team Xmas lunch. So we went, we had lunch. We exchange gifts. So every year we do Secret Santa, and we have like, I think we had a limit of like $20 this year. So we exchanged gifts, and then I actually came home and worked for I think an extra 2 hours because I wanted to make sure that my work was done before I went on leave and that I wasn't leaving it to anyone else. Tuesday I marked work. I marked doing some laundry. I marked that it was a 36-degree day. We love that. I marked having a TikTok scroll, and then I ordered some vitamins and supplements. I uploaded a video, didn't specify what, but I uploaded. I undid and redid my Easter spread because I remember when I filmed it the first time, I think I filmed it on the wrong week. So I had to undo everything, pull it all up, and then replan it. And then this particular night, my husband and I watched Christmas with the Cranks. Wednesday, I had work. I marked doing some cleaning. I did some laundry, and then I marked that I felt off. Usually when I feel off, it's like my stomach's unsettled or I feel like lightheaded or off balance or something like that. Otherwise, if it was like a headache, I'd put headache, or if it was fluey, I'd put fluey or sniffly or something like that. I marked that I had a nap. I then marked this day that I got my final pay with Christmas loading. So every year in December, provided that you've not, actually, I don't even know how it works, but every year we essentially get loading and you get like 15% on top of like your normal pay for like, yeah, I don't know, it's complicated. So my pay packet is usually like twice as much as what it would normally be. Then obviously there's tax, so we don't quite get as much, but still, it's handy to have, especially right before Christmas when you need to finish off Christmas shopping. And when you're someone like me who hosts Christmas, food is expensive. So every bit helps. I marked this day that one of my colouring books got delivered, and then that night we watched Daddy's Home. On Thursday, I marked work. I then marked that I had a telehealth appointment with my doctor because I'd had this rash on my neck for like 6 months and it wasn't going away. It was dry, it was flaky. I didn't have a rash anywhere else on my body, didn't know what it was. So we got it biopsied, needle in the back of the neck, punched a hole in my skin. Didn't have to get stitches, but they did tell me if it didn't stop bleeding, I'd have to get stitches, but thankfully I didn't need them. And then this day I got the results, and they basically just said that the results were that it was chronic eczema, even though it was in one spot. It is now gone. Don't know whether that's, yeah, don't know how or why, but it's gone. I marked that I had waxing this day as well as a nail appointment. I then marked that I got Michael's Christmas gift, which is my husband, for anyone who doesn't know who Michael is. I marked getting KFC for dinner, that I came home and chilled out with the boys. And again, I marked uploading, but didn't specify what I actually uploaded. Friday, I had work, last working day of the year. Christmas carols, just, there's something about getting ready to log off for the year with Christmas music playing, the Christmas tree up. I don't know. It's just, if you know that feeling and you like relate to that feeling, let me know in the comments below because I want to know that I'm not a weirdo. I marked that I had weird dreams the night before, that I had a headache, and then I marked that it was the best day because it was the last working day of 2024. I marked a YouTube binge, and then that night I had chicken schnitzel and chips for dinner. And then the Christmas movie of choice that night was a movie called Carry On. Not a Christmas movie. No, I think it is. I think it's set at Christmas time, but it's not necessarily a Christmas movie. Anyway, it was on Netflix. I don't know if it is anymore. And then finally, we are on to the weekend. So on Saturday, I marked sleeping in. I then marked that I was listening to Christmas carols, that I did some laundry and some cleaning. I marked that I cleaned out the pantry, because that's always like, I try and keep it tidy throughout the year, but come Christmas time, it's a mess. And when you're trying to find anything to cook Christmas lunch, it's a nightmare. My husband has this thing where even if I tidy the pantry and organize it and put things in little areas, and he can't keep it that way. He just shoves things back wherever. So then things just pile up on top of each other. And yeah, I have to do it again shortly, actually. But yeah, I cleaned out the pantry. I marked hanging out with our doggos, and then I've left a space to mark the Christmas movie of choice for that night and didn't fill it in. So don't know what it was. We'll have to go back through my notes somewhere. And then lastly, on to Sunday, I've marked sleeping in again. I marked that we had lunch at the Red Cow. I think it was with my brother and his partner. And we went Christmas shopping. It was with my brother and his partner because they hadn't shopped either. So we planned to meet up, have lunch, walk the shops together to see if anything tickled our fancy for anyone. And then obviously buy stuff if we saw fit. I then marked that I did an Xmas shop, so I'm pretty sure I got like all of our non-perishable items, like canned stuff, sugary stuff, stuff that wasn't going to go bad before Christmas, like 5 days later. Then on the way home, we got McDonald's drive-through, so I probably just got myself a coffee. And then I marked that we dropped my brother and his partner at home. And that is the end of this week. So we've only got one more week to voice over for 2024. I know I've obviously missed some content, but like I said, a lot has happened. I have a lot of spreads that I actually have to go in and do in my personal time. But once I've done that, I will obviously share those spreads with you guys. That is it for this week. I hope you have enjoyed, and I'll see you all very soon for another video. Thanks for watching.